Hi, I'm Commissioner Nancy Jester, and welcome to Nancy Jester Reports. Today is Tuesday, December 11th, and we met today, but I need to catch you up. We met last week, December 4th as well. So I'm going to catch you up on that meeting and then tell you what we did today. And today was our last meeting of the year. So I'm just going to hit the highlights from the meeting on Tuesday, the 4th, December 4th. We went through our legislative agenda. Some of the and the legislative agenda, what that is, it's a list of items and resolutions that we pass, and we give them to the DeKalb delegation, the state representatives and state senators, to go and try and enact these legislative priorities of DeKalb County. So again, some I agree with, some I don't, but these are the priorities that were set by the commission. Basically, we supported in general the ACCG legislative priorities. That's the state entity. It's the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, and that group has a list of things that are really important, kind of a lot of usually technical issues for counties as a whole throughout Georgia. So we're supportive of their agenda. I'm supportive of some and not supportive of others, so there's that. We have a coal ash storage resolution that we are recommending to the state delegation so that toxic type substance can't be stored here. Let's see. The commission, although I voted no, is asking the state to repeal the law where they're not allowed to move Confederate monuments or obscure them or do anything with them, that they have to protect them and keep them there. I'm against changing that law, but that is what the commission is asking our delegation to do. I don't see that will go anywhere statewide this year, but just want to let you know. Let's see. There are Grady wanted us to be in support of ways to look at dealing with uninsured patients from their perspective, from Grady's perspective, so they can enact some creative solutions to bring down costs and get more coverage for their uninsured population. So this was specific to Grady, and it was actually a good resolution, so I was in support of that. We have asked that DeKalb be allowed to lessen the criminal penalty for possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. We're looking at doing a charter review commission, although we're looking at doing it from DeKalb County, have an executive order from the CEO to do a charter review versus have it done by the legislature. We're looking at, some folks want to amend the way the Development Authority is populated with members. We haven't put that forward yet because I think there's still some questions there. Also, too, the board voted to approve this. I opposed this, which was to ask the state to allow a specific kind of debt issuance in DeKalb County. I'm against having more debt availability in DeKalb County, so I voted against that. And I don't think that's going anywhere either, because that would be a statewide law change, so I don't support that. And we've had discussions about mental health, some mental health issues, and getting some funding from the state for more capacity, more bed space in hospitals to deal with folks that are dealing with mental health issues. So that was, and last but not least, what I wanted to draw to your attention was at our last meeting, we approved a booting ordinance to make things a little less, to tighten up the guidance on that, because you've seen in Atlanta and other places, some very predatory practices. We've seen some criminal activities, some folks being, assaulted and so on in regards to booting operations. I did not vote in favor of this ordinance because I, along with another commissioner, we supported just banning it outright. It's a predatory practice, and we just didn't think that it belonged in DeKalb County at all. But it did pass. The good news is it does place some restrictions on. So that was the 4th. So today, the 11th, here we are. It's our last meeting of the year. We had a number of procurement items, a number of things deferred to next month. I will say that I was very happy we passed a pre-trial justice amendment to the budget for the DA, the public defender, and the magistrate court. This will allow them to be compliant with Marcy's Law and also just best practices for first hearings with all the right staff members being in there. So hopefully we can get people out of the criminal justice system and into diversions more quickly, those folks that need that, and that would be the right approach for handling their case. So that got passed, and that's something I'd been working in the FAB committee on for a long time, so I'm very happy that got through. Let's see. We voted to preserve in a capital account the proceeds from the sale of the Clark Harrison building. That happened a couple years back. And the funds had been sequestered, but they had to be, really we basically had to do this to be able to keep our ability to borrow the what we call COPS, which is a type of borrowing, certificates of participation. And I voted against this because I wanted us to just pay it back. I mean, I don't think we need to have all these debt options out there. I'm not in favor of public debt because why don't we just save up the money and pay for things out of accumulated cash reserves. So I don't like that we did that, but we did that. We amended and extended the contract for ambulance services, and let's see, I have that here with me. Let's see, where did I put that? That was a very important thing we did today because the AMR company was coming, here we go, with their contract was up at the end of this year, so obviously we need ambulance services, so we had to extend the contract. What I'm not happy about is this came to my desk, this substitute with all the details in it today. So I hadn't seen it until it came to me on the dais to vote for this particular agenda item. And there's some significant changes, a lot of which I like, but I would like to have had more time. And I know they were negotiating this up until the last minute, but they did make several changes. We'll try and get these changes up onto the website for anybody that's interested. Basically, instead of just one ambulance response time, this is the main difference. There's going to be a tiered response time. One response time will have to be at just under 9 minutes for advanced life support and under 15 minutes for basic life support. They've changed the transport fees that can be charged, so there's that in there. And they've also put an enhancement in there if people want to purchase additional unit hours from an ambulance for, say, a city wants to do that. There's a per hour charge for that. If they wanted to enhance their service. So all in all, I mean, we needed to do this. I voted for it, but I wish I had more time to review the details in the contract, which goes to one of the issues I have with procurement as a whole. I mean, I think our procurement process really needs to be overhauled, and our calendar and how we do things, we're falling behind too many times. I get sometimes you have emergencies. This isn't an emergency. Everybody knew this day was coming. So why we couldn't have that before now, I don't know. But it's been approved. And we will have a new procurement on the street sometime in the first quarter, and an award, I would think, in the second quarter for ambulance service, a brand new contract with even more details. Let's see. We approved a number of purchasing items that we'd previously discussed in committee. There have been a few deferrals, nothing major to talk about. We are doing our second sanitary sewer petition. That's when streets don't have access to sewer. They can petition the county, and we go through a whole process, and we're able to then put sewer on their street. And this was, for the first time, we did one a few months back, earlier this year, for the first time ever in DeKalb County that in recent memory, because we were able to amend our ordinances and get that done. This will be the second one, and it's also in District 1, so I'm very proud of that. So this will be 2 areas that didn't have sewer service in District 1 that, if the petition process goes successfully, will have sewer service in District 1. And this can happen all over the county to areas that want to petition to be on the sewer system that currently are not. So those were most important things. In closing, I will say too, we did get some information on the budget. We anticipate the budget being delivered to us shortly by the CEO's office. He gave a short slide presentation on it, not a lot of detail. He wants to give everybody a 3% raise, that some folks didn't get a raise back last year when we gave public safety a raise, so now everybody gets a raise. So I'm not a big fan of that, because there's going to be inflationary pressures then on the pension obligations and all kinds of things that I don't know that we've completely thought through, and I'm not certain about our efficiencies and productivity levels earning that wage increase. So I'm concerned about that. He's pushing a big renovation to the Maloof lobby to make it more secure and a more comfortable experience, and he's starting a child well-being improvement collaboration. So I look forward to more details on that. That was the meeting today. So it's the end of the year. This is our last meeting. For all the meetings coming up, all the schedule, you can go to nancyjester.com. We'll have a link to the meeting schedule for 2019. Of course, we'll be here working away, obviously all for the holidays. So if you need us, certainly give us a buzz. And this is the last meeting for my colleague Greg Adams. Commissioner Adams will have a new super district commissioner for his district in January, so I wish him well. He also lost his mother, so condolences on losing his mother this past week. And I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Hope if you celebrate Hanukkah, I hope that holiday went well for you and that you have a very Merry Christmas. And we just the other day, DeKalb County turned 196 years old, so happy birthday to DeKalb County as well. Thank you, and we will see you next year for another edition of Nancy Jester Reports.